Hello everyone, welcome to the second part of this playlist. I will talk about three functions which are present in my package in this video. The first function performs chi-square test between target variable and predictors, one at a time. This function performs few basic checks before actually performing the test. The predictors are verified in each iteration and is skipped if it is not a categorical variable. This function is only supposed to work for two categorical variables, so it was a necessary condition. Whenever a predictor is skipped, a message is printed to show that a predictor has been skipped. But if you want to turn off this feature, we can just change the parameter skip value to true. Let me run this function and demonstrate how it works. So as you can see from the output, we performed chi-square test where the second column was taken as my target variable, and every column starting from third one was taken as my predictor. Now MPG, displacement, HP, DRAT, WT, QSEC, carb were skipped as these were numerical variables, but chi-square test was performed on AM and gear variables. The chi-square statistic and the p-value and the significance level of this of after performing this test is returned in a data frame format. Now let's move on to the second function. In the second function, test.tTestCat, we perform t-test between variables. This function works nearly the same way as the chi-square function, but the only difference being in chi-square test, we were the target variable and the predictors had to be categorical, but in this case the target variable has to be categorical, but it should only have uh, two two levels, and the predictor has to be numerical. Let me demonstrate how it works by running this function. So again, in this function as well, I am taking the second column as my target and every column after third as my predictors. Now, as we saw in the previous test that the chi-square value of AM and gear was calculated and every other value was kept. In this test, the AM and gear are skipped and every other value and a statistic for every other variable has been calculated. So the data frame which is being returned in this case has variable name, t statistic, p value, and the significance level. Now, the first two functions which we discussed in this video are not really supposed to be used by the user. The function which the user will probably use is test.all_cat. This function is comparatively easier to use as the predictors and the target variables can be a list of column indexes or the column names. If the user provides column names, it is being handled in this piece of code and converted into indexes. We are using the above mentioned functions in this function. So if we want to perform chi-square test, we can set the chi-square parameter as true, which the default value of which is true. So we don't really have to write it down, but if we don't want to perform chi-square test, we'll need to set it to false. The same goes with the t-test. Let's see how it works by running this piece of code. Now, as you can see in the video, we opted out of performing t-test, but we wanted to perform chi-square test, and the and our function returned a list. It would have contained two variables. This list would have contained two variables if we hadn't disable the t-test function, but right now it only contains chi-square value, which is the theta frame returned by the chi-square function. This brings us to the end of the video. So if you liked it, hit the like button. Thank you and have a nice day.